The story continues for the Royal Challengers Bangalore in IPL history. Yet again, the Royal Challengers Bangalore have been knocked out of the final, their push rather for a title win, which has eluded them for the past 12 seasons and has eluded them this season as well. RCB falling to a 6-wicket loss at the hands of the Sunrisers Hyderabad. And on the back of some batting brilliance from Kane Williamson and Jason Holder, SRH chased down a relatively par total to win the match, win the Eliminator, and book themselves a spot in Qualifier 2 alongside the Delhi Capitals. Yet again, the storied history of RCB goes without saying. No title for them this season as well. But SRH obviously have their chances to nail their second title since the Sunrisers Hyderabad's inception in the IPL. And a lot to talk about yesterday's match, which happened between these two teams. You're watching Sportskeeda's IPL series Power Play. I'm your host, Prasen Markal, and along with me is our cricket expert, Indranil Basu. Indranil, a rather lopsided win for the Sunrisers Hyderabad yesterday, considering the fact that everything worked for them right from the first ball of the match?
Absolutely, and it was on the expected line, isn't it? I mean, last night, just minutes before the first ball was bowled, we had predicted. Prasen, you and I both, we agreed on that, how SRH, they have the momentum. Well, Saha would have been there. It would have been much more easier for them, right up there with the batting. But Warner lost. It was a very good effort, very clinical effort. They knew all the way they would win this game. From the time they won the toss and put RCB to bat first on a wicket that had something for the paces. The ball was stopping a little. It was not. It was a double pace wicket. It was not easy because of the sand base. Abu Dhabi being the place where it's surrounded with a lot of sand. So it was a tough match for RCB for sure. And we saw what happened. It's out in the open and people are discussing. You know what they're discussing.
yeah, absolutely. And again, it was a case of little to nothing from the RCB batsmen. Interestingly, Kohli took the option of opening the batting. You know, it was spoken about in length. Kohli did open the batting in 2016 and tasted success. And he took his chances and came out opening, but the move didn't pay well for him. You know, he got out for just 6 runs. Aaron Finch, it just seemed like Kohli was the new Aaron Finch of the RCB team yesterday.
You know, to do well in life, you need 3 H, which is very important. First is your humility, your honor, your honesty. 3 H these are the 3 aspects if you're playing at that level, at that highest level. So Virat Kohli is really lagging in those areas. You know, he doesn't give doesn't care about honor, much about humility, and he's not been honest. And you know, Sachai ka, that's what they say in Hindi. Sachai ka zor bahut hota hai. And the honesty bit was completely there with SRH, the way they have backed their talent. They also have tossed their batting order up and down here and there, but they have been very, very honest with their intent, which is why they are here. They won. They have the momentum with them. In comparison, RCB they came into this game with 4 losses in a row. That was a real tough one for them. But yet they put up a good fight. But they could have done certainly better than what they did. And I would solely blame Virat Kohli for the way he changed the batting order. What was the point of what point were you making? Okay, we know you're the best batsman, but hold your horses. Don't rush. That's been his bane of his captaincy. He's always trying to get a result out of every delivery. He wants a success after every delivery, which is not possible in T20. You also have to be little down to earth. That's why this word called humility is very important. You have to be humble on the field. You have to honor the other opponent. You have to be honest in your effort. So that's why I'm saying 3H is very important when you're leading a side, when you're a leader. And he really messed up the batting order. And the way he went up and you undermined the Australian captain, he came down the order. And thank God that knock from A.B. de Villiers happened. Otherwise, they would have been all over the place. They wouldn't have managed 100 runs also on the board. And then they say that we were short by 30, 40 runs. I don't know how can you expect to get 30, 40, 170, 160 on a track like that when you don't get a good start. And it was a lot of overconfidence, the way he walked out. Then, you know, we heard how the commentators asked him who's going to open the innings. And he said, We don't know. We are deciding. So he's trying to keep everything very secretive. Within few minutes, it was out in the open. I think one of the commentators, Simon Dole, he asked, former New Zealand fast bowler, he asked Virat Kohli. He said on air yesterday during the game. So, I mean, this is not the right way, and we are seeing. And that's why I jokingly said last night. And Virat Kohli continues to lead Royal Challengers Bangalore. They really need to pull up their socks, do something different, think something different, and make sure this kind of performance is not repeated over and over again. It's been 13 years. They've been always they always start the competition with so much of seriousness. The batting powerhouse. This year they were bowling well, but all because of lack of intent from the captain Virat Kohli. That's what they have. They are out of the tournament. They were eliminated in that game yesterday against SRH. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I think it was a issue on my end. But Jason Holder's inclusion in the side has been pretty much a blessing in disguise for Sunrisers. Mitchell Marsh was ruled out of the competition, and that's how he came in. And since then, he's made quite an impact. Yesterday also, he was phenomenal, picked up 3 wickets, scored those important runs towards the end. He's been a great addition to the side.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. And we said yesterday, again, we discussed, Prasen, you remember, he's a tall man. He gets that bounce. He's not express fast. He's bowling at 129, 130 kilometers per hour. But the bounce he gets off the track because of his height, that makes a lot of difference. And that's why we saw Virat Kohli getting out. And he called it a sort of soft dismissal. You got out. It doesn't matter whether it's hard or soft. You got out. That's the main thing. And you got out. You're knocked out of the tournament. And because of your sort of high-handedness, that you're the best, you can do the best job. You haven't opened throughout the tournament. All of a sudden, in a must-win game, you change the batting order like that. And that's not right. And he's done it time and again. If he's not playing with the playing 11, he's playing with the batting order. He's playing. He loves experimenting, and I want to really see how much resistance these selectors and Saurav Ganguly can live up to right now, and continue with Virat Kohli. There's so much of people who they are not scared. People are not scared anymore to go out there and tell the world that Virat Kohli is no good as a captain. It's actually right out in the open. It's written on the wall. If India, if Indian the BCCI is unable to read what's there on the wall written clearly, boldly, I think we have a tough a journey ahead of us as far as Indian cricket is concerned. You have to change the captain. There's no two ways about it. I mean, how on earth will you justify the fact that Rohit Sharma is playing IPL is not part of the Australian team? He's the best opening batsman in the world in world cricket today, and he's not there because there is some sort of difference between Virat and Rohit Sharma. And Rohit Sharma is definitely going to be in, and he's taken the entire BCCI, the entire system. He's challenged the entire system by coming out and playing. He doesn't give a damn whether it's club versus country versus club debate. He doesn't care a damn. He wants to go out there. He's fit. He's playing. And then BCCI says he's not fit. There's a tear. And this Mumbai Indians, they feel it's a strain. If it's a tear, Prasen, no one can walk that field. He's playing a game. So who is lying here? Clearly someone is lying. Someone is lying. Someone is not honest. And if you're not honest, it won't work. And garbad, harbadi mein garbadi. That's what they say in Hindi. So Virat Kohli is always harbadi. And that's why he's never won a tournament, not even as a captain of Team India. Twice he had a great team, 2017 Champions Trophy. I can't tell you how confident we were as a team, and we lost that game to Pakistan. Again, in that semi-final game against New Zealand in the 2019 World Cup, we were the favourites, and we didn't win the tournament. And all because of one gentleman who's not been leading the side in the right way. And I can tell you, viewers who have joined me, there are cricketers in the team who have complained to me personally, who have told me that Virat is not being the perfect captain. He's not available to players after the game. He doesn't. He should never till 2019. Last time I spoke to a lot of these cricketers, senior cricketers, he never used to have food with the teammates. Barring, I mean, if it was they're having a journey together, going from one city to the other, that's a different situation. But when they're stationed in one place playing matches, unless it's a team dinner or a team lunch or a get together over breakfast, Virat is always on his own, and he's not set the right example. And whereas look at Rohit Sharma, he comes back to his hotel room, calls all his friends, let's meet up for dinner, let's go out. He's always, right now they can't. They have really done well. A team really, players need to compliment it for staying in that bubble and doing everything within their space, playing games, video games, doing karaoke nights. It's been fun playing all those indoor games, gelling well as a team, as like a family. But Virat clearly has missed the trick. He's such a great batsman and such a sad leader. There's no two ways about it. Everyone is talking about it, and it had to happen because you've not won anything as a captain, and this is the time you should really move out of it, like Sachin did. Prasen, remember Sachin? Sachin understood he can never lead, he can never be a good captain because the entire focus was on his batting. I don't know what his Virat's focus is. He is a good batsman, he's batting well, but where else is the other bit of Virat Kohli? He's not there as a captain. So what's the point of continuing?
Yeah, and but yesterday's match, I think the real turning point was when AB de Villiers was castled by Natarajan. At one point you mentioned how Kohli he came out early and he didn't have that intent, and obviously the rest of the batting really failed. But at the end of the 15th over, there was just 93 runs on the board, and they couldn't really go fast after that because of the lack of insurance. And in a way, do you think that that Natarajan wicket really turned the match in SRH's favor? Otherwise, de Villiers would have probably scored 20-30 runs more.
Definitely. There's the two ways about it. It was a turning point, and that's why they praised the captain. Warner did praise him that he's been amazing, and he became father yesterday. What a moment! What a moment! A big wicket, big win for his team, and this is how. This is a defining day. He'll never forget this day yesterday, not only because of taking the wicket of Virat, of AB de Villiers, but also becoming a father and winning a game for his team, and the team winning overall, and he represented that team. That's a huge boost, and what a moment for a young man, and that's a memorable one. And he wants to would love to, and the entire team would love to win the tournament for the child who was born on the day they played the Eliminator against RCB.
Yeah, but he's turning out to be a fantastic bowler and a real good prospect for Indian cricket as well. Probably maybe if he plays one more season and has a good domestic season. But just shifting our focus to the Sunrisers batting, they got the wicket of Srivath Goswami early. Manish Pandey also was removed early, and it just seemed like RCB were coming into the competition. I think in the last 5 overs they needed 45 runs, but those 2 sixes, first of Sundar and then of Chahal, it really turned the match. So were those 2 sixes the real game-changing moments, or do you think it was something else?
Prasen, 131 and 132 to win is never going to be a big challenge for any team. They may have lost 3 wickets, they would have lost 5 wickets. It was always going to be easy. I tell you, because they tried creating that facade, Virat Kohli, by making that noise that, come on boys, we can do it. Let him, he can't go beyond this, trying to tease him, trying to sledge the batsman from the opposition, from the SRH camp. But Kane Williamson, the way he batted, I mean, the way he came around doing his business, he kept quiet, never looked in a rush. You can never unsettle these characters. They talk less. They do a lot of talking through their bats, through their skills, which Virat Kohli needs to learn. He's a good batsman. I'm not questioning that at all. Someone who has got so many hundreds, but as a leader, there's a huge question mark. And sort of with 131, obviously bowlers did well. They created a little bit of pressure, but it wasn't that kind of a pressure which we thought from outside there is inside. Because 131 is never going to create that kind of pressure in a T20 game. No way it can happen. It has happened in the past. when SRH were bowled out in one of the games for 114 or something odd runs. But here, they have really come good. They have got through all the bad phases also. I remember one of the games, they scored 142 and lost the game. They 142 for 4. And I remember telling the viewers that it's a scam. That a team getting 142 and you have wickets in hand and you yet again do nothing about it. So when you have 3 wickets down and you're chasing 132, it's always going to be easy. But the sort of atmosphere, the ambience which Virat Kohli created, that facade, that yes, we can win, which is good, which any captain would do. But he had drew little less on the board to defend. So let's not get into that. There was pressure for sure. But Kane Williamson is always going to come good. 10 out of 10 times he's going to succeed because the overall total, the chasing, the winning total was really, really low.
Yeah, and I mean, at one stage, it looked like RCB's move to pick 4 spinners. I mean, they didn't use Moeen Ali; they bowled him for just 1 over. But the move to play Zampa as well in the match, it really worked well for RCB. And even in the last over with those many runs, when we saw Navdeep Saini restricted Mumbai Indians to just 7 in the super over that he bowled. So at that stage, did you feel that Royal Challengers Bangalore can actually pull things back a fair bit, or was it already a case closed by that time because Holder and Williamson were well settled at the crease?
Yeah, because I never had any doubt that they're not going to cross over. SRH, they had that record, they had the momentum, they won. They came into the game with 3 wins. Yes, they didn't have a great start. I thought Warner's dismissal was slightly inconclusive because the ball may have kissed his thigh guard or his lower near the groin area. The ball may have kissed it. That may have made all the noise, but it may not have kissed the gloves, which the third umpire said there was a bit of a spark when the ball went past the glove. But yes, it was unfortunate. Manish Pandey also started off well. It's clearly missed Saha at right top of the order. If Saha would have been there, they would have won the match by, I guess, by 10 wickets, like the way they did against Mumbai Indians. But that was one thing which I hope Saha comes back for the next game against Delhi Capitals, and Delhi Capitals are going to have a real tough time against SRH because this is one thing in momentum is a huge thing, and when you get it towards the fag end of your league phase and then getting on to the playoff stages, and they are doing so well. SRH, I always we knew it, Prasan, we discussed it so many times. It's going to be SRH versus Mumbai Indians, and SRH is just doing the right things all of a sudden, even though they don't have a strong middle order. Their middle order, I thought, it's still little inexperienced, but Holder coming in, as you rightly pointed out, has added so much of edge to the side, and his bowling is also batting down the order, and he stayed with Williamson. He didn't want to copy Williamson. They had a definite plan. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they had to do. It was complete, and you expect in a big game, the big players will put their hand up. And when it comes to big game, as far as Virat Kohli is concerned, he's never done well. Be it playing in the ICC events, in those playoff games, in those semi-finals and finals, Virat has never succeeded, which is very unfortunate. The last time Virat scored in a big game was way back in 2012 or 14, World T20. That year, I remember Sri Lanka had won the World T20 and Virat scored some runs in the final. India didn't win that game, of course, and the entire blame came on Yuvraj Singh for playing slow cricket. Then again in 2016, Virat had a lovely season. He scored close to 1,000 runs, and in the final against SRH, Virat he scored some runs. He scored over 50 or something, but it was not good enough. So he is a zero player when it comes to crunch games, and a big player, a match-winning player is always going to score like Williamson did on big matches. And yesterday was a big match, Prasen, and Virat didn't score. So he's only making me believe that he's only good at bilateral matches. Virat is only good at bilateral matches. Let him win. And with a bat in a big game for his team, be it RCB or playing for India, then we'll talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Yesterday, the Sunrisers put in quite a comprehensive performance, and it really holds them in good stead. They're unbeaten from the last 4 games. What next for RCB? Gautam Gambhir also spoke about it. He echoed a couple of sentiments from other experts as well, saying RCB need to look beyond Virat Kohli because he hasn't delivered for so many seasons. I think it's been 8 seasons since he came up, started captaining RCB. In your opinion, do you feel they need to look beyond Kohli or probably make him just a player and get someone else from the auction to lead the side?
For all we may know, Prasen, we have to first do it from the top. And the top means Virat has to pass on the baton of one of the formats of white ball cricket to Rohit Sharma. When next year, when we are playing the World T20 at home, Rohit has to be the captain of the Indian team. There are no two ways about it. I don't know if that is possible because Virat Kohli is got a little support from his support staff, then and the selectors and the BCCI president who believes that if a player is playing all formats, he should captain the side in all formats. We can't have split captaincy. He is totally against it, but I personally believe that's the reason why they have a clash. Rohit is firm believer that he can lead the side, and that's the reason Sportskira did a story a few months ago, days before he was given the Khel Ratna award. We knew BCCI is thinking about bringing in this change of giving the captaincy to Rohit Sharma and in one of the formats in white ball cricket, probably in T20, and that will sort of even the balance, even the power center at Indian cricket, at the core of Indian cricket team. But and that's why BCCI was pushing for Rohit to get that award, that Khel Ratna. That will give him that sort of recognition, and it happened. He got the Khel Ratna, and then the debate started flowing. That why Kumble and Rahul Dravid were not given that award during their time. I don't think Rahul Dravid also got one, right? He was rejected, right? Yes. So that's the thing. So there is a push, there is a thought process, and this is the high time. Before they look at RCB, Virat has to be removed as a T20 captain. There are no two ways about it. This is for the best interest of Indian cricket, and that will probably pacify Rohit Sharma to give a sort of fitness certificate to the BCCI, to the selectors, that I am fit and I can play the Australian tour. It has to happen during England tour if he misses out on the Australian tour. This is certainly not going to help Indian cricket in a long way. These two guys are really big guys, and the fact that every time Rohit Sharma takes the field, he reaches the final, and every time Virat Kohli takes the field, he goes nowhere. So there is clearly a conflict there. Rohit personally feels he doesn't mind if he's not given, but he won't play like this. There must be a thought process, I'm sure about it. Without talking to Rohit Sharma, without talking to any stakeholder, I'm telling you this. This is the human mind. And why is he leading the side? He can't even take his team to a final of a competition since 2013. It's been 8 long years. Virat has been captaining RCB. He has taken the team nowhere. Only once they had an outside chance of winning in 2016. That too they missed out because they were not humble enough to admit that there are other teams who are also. God has to be fair to the opposition also. So that thing they often forget. Virat Kohli. So you have to change the captain in T20. That's the only way forward, and that's the only truce. This is the world called truce, and they are very professional. Outside our space, outside world, they are not showing the sort of difference they have. But this is the main core difference. Virat Kohli doesn't want to let go his T20 captaincy, and Virat and Rohit Sharma wants it. There's no two ways about it. They won't come out and admit in public. But this is how it is. That will really even out things. And this is what is needed for the larger interest of Indian cricket.
Yeah, well, RCB's campaign certainly done and dusted. And it remains to be seen what sort of changes that the management make to get this team into a winning position. Obviously, lack of resources after ABD. The bowling unit, there was a little merry-go-round over there. And quite a few issues for the management to plug before IPL 2021. But as for Sunrisers Hyderabad, they're looking like a very, very good unit despite Bairstow sitting out on the benches.
Before I'm sorry to interrupt you. What are your thoughts? Don't you think we should hand over the white ball T20 cricket captaincy to Rohit Sharma?
Well, I think the Indian team definitely has the stardom to win titles, but I think that's the whole point, right? That Virat Kohli hasn't been able to perform as captain, and I'm a firm believer, honestly, that if a captain is good enough to lead one format, he should lead all three formats. So, I think I'm on the other side of the fence in terms of this aspect. But
That's what
yeah, look, I mean,
you're with Saurav Ganguly then.
now I'm not with anyone. It's just my personal opinion. But yeah, I
Had,
mean,
had Rohit been playing for Australia, he would have been the captain of the team for the 2019 World Cup also. Let me tell you that. So we have been really unprofessional in handling this crisis. And BCCI is known to be little less professional than other cricket boards in the world. So this is no surprise for me at all. And I thought, there a lot of professionalism with Ganguly coming into scheme of things. He will try to pacify. He tried putting his foot down and changing things by giving that sort of solidarity. Otherwise, Shikhar Dhawan would have been out of the contention long time ago. He's still there because Ganguly has been backing few talent. That's what he's doing. But definitely they need to sort out this captaincy issue. And Virat is not the man to take India to 2021 World T20 or 2023 50 over World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll need to wait and see if that happens, because I completely understand where you're coming from. Obviously, Kohli hasn't really proven his credentials as captain, despite having a team which boasts of some international stars on the national team front. And as for RCB, we haven't.
Look at his average as a playoff in playoff matches as a batsman. Just try and look at the average and forget the IPL. Look at the average in playoff matches he's played. Virat Kohli. He's been horrendous. He's like less said the better. Sorry, I mean coming to SRH.
Yeah, no, they're led by an Australian, who you think would have probably been replaced by Rohit Sharma in the 2019 World Cup. But yeah, look, I mean, they look unstoppable. 4 wins in a row. It just seems like they're probably better served in when they face the Delhi Capitals. But of course, I mean, just quickly, your thoughts on that side. Do they need to make any changes before the Delhi Capitals match?
Oh, they need to bring in Saha. And Saha was such a revelation the way he batted. The two guys really changed the luck for SRH. One is Holder, who's doing his job and is getting better with every game, and Riddhiman Saha. And this is a moment where you have to back him, and he should be playing in the first 11 the way Rishabh Pant. I'm a huge Rishabh Pant fan because he's got real raw talent. Someone who can hit the cricket ball so hard.
You're not a Rishabh Pant fan, you're a Prithvi Shaw fan.
Okay, I take that also. But Saha is someone in place of Shivats. I would love to see Saha coming and doing the damage. If he comes in next 2 games, Mumbai Indians, watch out. It's not going to be easy for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Saha's been phenomenal at the top, and unfortunately had to sit out due to injury. But they have, little less than 40 hours to make that call and to see if he can actually fit in. But of course, we will bring you the preview show of that match tomorrow evening at 7 p.m., where our expert will be talking about his observations and his analysis on the SRH and Delhi Capitals playing 11, and also obviously the fantasy updates for the SRH versus Delhi Capitals match. But Royal Challengers Bangalore knocked out of IPL. The trophy continues to be dusted without any trophy presence in that cabinet. So I think it's going to be a long wait for RCB fans again. Close to, I think, 4 to 5 months before the next edition of the.
For Prasin also.
No, I mean, I'll be honest. We didn't go in with too many hopes. Because the team did have a couple of gaping holes.
Best way to enjoy IPL is to support this team which is doing well. So team which is showing some sort of. I supported Kings 11. They didn't win. For a while, I was really critical because they were promoting Karnataka players only. Then they shifted their base to Punjab players. They did well. I'm glad they did well, and they got so much of excitement. Rajasthan Royals, again, an exciting team. They played well, and as Shane Bond pointed out, when Rajasthan would play their games, fans are made to put on the edge of their seats, that's what cricket is. Get some excitement happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're all gearing up for some excitement tomorrow evening. But before that, just to let the viewers know that today evening we've got the Trailblazers facing off against the Supernova in the final league stage match of the Women's T20 Challenge. Obviously, Supernovas coming into this match on the back of a loss to Velocity. On the other hand, Trailblazers picked up a dominating win over the Velocity in the last game that they played. So two very interesting teams coming into today's match. But as for the men's IPL, we will have the qualifier 2 between the Sunrisers Hyderabad and Delhi Capitals tomorrow evening. And before that, as always, Sportskeeda brings you the Power Play series where we'll have the preview at 7 p.m. So do join us for that. But until then, it is goodbye from us, our cricket expert Indraneel Basu and myself, Prasen Magal. Thank you so much for joining us and see you all tomorrow.
See you all tomorrow.